we got to talk about the topic that ruffles a lot of feathers out there, but it's a conversation that needs to be had. If we're talking a classic album, can a classic album have a skip factor attached to it? And if you don't know what I'm referring to, it means like if something's a classic, are you really skipping any tracks? It's as simple as that. That's not right or wrong. It's the question. With that being said, I want the chat room's opinion. Are there any songs, and by the way, everybody in this room as well, are there any songs on this album that you feel deserve the skip factor label? And if so, why? And again, nothing wrong with doing that. It's just a question on how many does that fall into a category on classics? It's happened before many a time. We are on album number 5, by the way, of the 5 mic dissections. So we've had this conversation 5 times, and it's gotten controversial every single time. But I asked the room, who wants to step up first? Is there a particular song that you guys want to skip?
I had a few.
Time out 1 second. I just want to ask the room real quick. We talked about skits before. Yeah. I don't think skits will count in this particular. We're strictly talking music. Just saying that as a heads up. Go ahead. I think Mal, you want to start off? Go ahead.
I want to mention just one quick thing, right? So, the older heads know when De La Soul's Dead first came out, right? Especially old heads like me that bought the cassette. It was different than the CD. The CD had extra bonus tracks on it, right?
Yes.
I will say this: the cassette version, and I will tell you which tracks were not on the cassette. I mean, we're not on the cassette version. To me, was absolute perfection, right? No skippables, and that's saying a lot for a cassette because fast forward along. But the CD added "Kicked Out the House," "Worship," which explained one of the skits that was actually on the cassette, which kind of threw me at first. Because one of the skits I didn't understand what Mace was saying in it, but then I understood when I got the full version on the CD. And it might have been, is it one other song? Can you think of us again? It was one other song, I think. It may have been a third track that was like brand new. Oh yeah, the piano, Johnny's Dead or whatever.
Johnny's Dead, yeah.
Yeah. So there's these are 3 extra kind of skittish, crazy-ish, very experimental, out there kind of songs that go along with the zaniness of the album. But to me, those are skippable. But to me, my initial, first several months, year, whatever, however long I had the album.
You can take the bonus tracks out of this for the conversation. That's fine.
I don't know, but I don't know, are those considered bonus tracks though? That's what I'm trying to say. Like if you get the CD, they are.
Because they are. Canadian version.
I'm gonna tell you why they're considered bonus tracks. Because every time that conversation comes up, people tend to refer to the fact that the bonus songs are not on the cassette. The fact that they even mention them as bonus songs. And I think at that time and place, 1991, CDs were out, but they weren't the most popular form of medium just yet, but they were highly rising to be exactly that. And I think it was just another marketing ploy to be like, if you have a Walkman, we want you to eventually get a CD player, right? Sure. And for that new sound. And if you do it, you get these extra songs. This is probably around the time. I think in 90, but you still had CD boxes that were vertical, that were this long. You know what I'm saying? Mind you, the CD is this big, the rest was empty box. But the reason they created those boxes were because they didn't want the record stores to have to go through a whole new version of bin relocating and banning new bins to hold music, because those are the same size bins as a 12-inch. If you think about it.
Right. Makes sense.
So it'll fit the vinyl section. A narrower, right, sort of aisle, but as far as height is concerned, it'll fit a vinyl size coffin to hold records. Does that make sense?
I'm telling you though, Jules, I think the only thing that throws me off about them being actual bonus tracks though is the fact that Mace in the skit that's on the cassette mentions "Who Do You Worship?" And I didn't know what he was talking about for like half a year. I was like, what does he mean? Who do you worship? That devil worshiping sounding joint. I'm like, what's he talking about? And then I finally got the CD and I was like, oh, now it all makes sense.
Right.
I was like, what is? I just.
Oh, so who do you worship? Yeah, so you tell me who do you worship is not on the cassette?
No.
Oh,
yeah.
But he mentions it. But he mentions it in the skit on the cassette.
So what other songs were not on the?
"Kicked Out the House." The piano, "Johnny's Dead," and then "Who Do You Worship?" Those weren't on the cassette.
Yep.
See, I agree with everything that I was just gonna say that because I got the tape. I didn't even get the tape. I got a dub. So that was the only version of the album that I knew until I didn't get a CD player. 91. I didn't get a CD player for like 4 or 5 years after that. And
that's very believable. I believe it.
But it speaks volumes because there are no skips on that De La Soul's Dead cassette.
Right. So I got you saying that aloud, Rev. Malcontent, is that what you were saying besides
That's
the bonus
exactly-
cut?
Yeah,
That's okay.
Exactly what I was saying. I was saying.
I agree.
We got Scan saying the same thing. I got people, and I got non-instrumentals in the chat room saying first
I'm
4
talking
albums of De La Soul, no skips.
No skips.
Was that trip?
Pretty
I'm
much.
saying from what that's on the DSP right now. Like, well, I heard there's a few of them that I would skip. I'll skip like the Rap Diddy Rap show. Like, it's
Okay.
not really needed. It wasn't really needed, but and Johnny's Dead.
That's just
It's crazy. I think I picked all those as well, and I didn't know that those were bonus cuts because they on the CD.
They're not on the cassette. Yes, those are not on the cassette.
But they also track list them like in the middle of the album. It's not like they put them at the very end. Like here's
Nope. Yeah.
like so like I definitely kind of like Triple C said. I had.
Well, Rap the Rap Show was definitely Rap the Rap Show was definitely on the original, but yeah, the rest that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Man, who knows what kind of shit Tom Silverman was pulling to get those songs out? You worked at a label. They put out different versions in different countries, so that could have been a European version, Canadian version, a single. Who knows? But
I'm not even gonna lie to you. I think that Kicked Out the House, for example, I think it's a spoof, right? It's a joke. At the same time, I also think it's them being like, you know, the label said we gotta do a dance record, like because of that time.
Hip house because of that hip house stuff. But remember, hip house died. Hip house died quickly.
And it was like, oh, we gotta do one. It's like if you're gonna do one, this is how we do it. Yeah. It's kind of like
I thought they were making the play on "Girl I'll House You."
That's exactly what I think
the
they're doing.
Brothers?
Yeah, literally the Jungle Brothers. Because I think Tom Wayne looked at that and was like, "Yo, we're a dance label, motherfucker." Like, I mean, hip hop label too, but they were also like they had Tommy Boys established on both sides. So it's kind of like, give us a fucking house record and we out of here. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of like here, and it's like you motherfuckers like. And I'm not even gonna lie, I still think to this day, because this is the era of the remix, right, as well too. Well, not yet, not 91 yet, but like had that maybe been a little further middle down the 90s, you would have gave that song to any producer that does house music. They probably could have made the craziest remix. And it would have been fire. And it still would have been the ploy on like getting kicked out the house. But like it wouldn't have been corny. It would have been like, oh, this shit go. Like they gave that shit to like Frankie Knuckles or fucking, you know what I'm saying, Dave Morales or Masters at Work or somebody. It's kind of like, oh, they put that sauce on this shit. Like I feel like they gave it's not a bad record, but it's like this is a joke.
It's not.
It's so sarcastic though. I mean, they got the guy singing. The way the guy singing in it. You know, all that stuff. I'm just like, oh man, they just pouring it on, leading into it. I'm like, come on, y'all, man. They're so sarcastic, dude.
That shit was so funny. Some
It is though.
That's hysterical. So we I think have all come to the agreement, because again, I didn't know that these records was particularly these quote unquote bonus cuts. So technically, if that is the case, and I said it earlier, you know, we don't got to count these, but those are the ones I would have skipped. So if we're not counting them, I kind of fall into the same kind of category as you guys. Like, there's no skips.
There's no skips.
I want to hear from Hobo.
There's no skips on here. Yeah, Hobo. Like you didn't even say anything.
I'm not skipping.
It's okay if there's skips.
I'm not skipping anything on this album, man. I'm pressing play, bro.
This might be. I'm not gonna lie. I think this might be the first out of the 5 albums that we've dissected where we haven't had a total agreement. Because there's people that say yes or no, and that's fine. That's not what we're here to say. I think it's the first time we've all been on the same page about no skips all the way through.
No skips, yep.
That's pretty cool.
You could get through the whole house and before the album's over.
according to Wikipedia, with the actual bonus songs, it all tallies up to a 73 minutes and 49 seconds. So definitely an hour in. Like a movie, very good. Yeah. Even with the credits, exactly. So I want to wrap things up. Again, we do this every Monday night, but we do this once a month. And if you're in tune with Eats, Beats, and Rhymes, we do it every end of the month. That's right, the last Monday of the month, we take on the dissection. Tonight's dissection. And for the next few months, will be all about Source Magazine's 5 mic rating system. We've covered 5 albums to date, including De La Soul is Dead Tonight. And we've talked about a bunch of music. We played a bunch of records. We classified them under singles. We classified them under what we deemed were the best songs with lyrics, the best songs with production. And we even attempted the controversial conversation about a skip factor. And we're all on the same page no skips on this album. De La Soul is Dead is sort of proving to be, again, not that we were questioning it, but exactly what it is, a 5 mic rated album without question.